I know everyone's going to hate me. Go ahead. But the men's team makes more money because because people are more interested in it.
But guess who takes...
Not everybody, honestly, has the same skill.
Not everyone has the same skills because the women are better skilled.
Well, the women are better skilled against other women. But if the women played the men, they wouldn't be winning the way that they win.
Okay, I'm not going to get into this. I'm not even going to get into that argument.
I'm just saying, if there's more money, that means there's more money available.
Why does it make more money?
Because people are more interested in it.
This whole talk about age makes me uncomfortable. I think it's the wrong road to go down. She says people, politicians or something are not in their prime. Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Sorry. When a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s.
What are you talking? Wait.
That's not according to me.
Prime for what?
It depends. I mean, it's just like prime. If you look it up, if you Google when is a woman in her prime, it'll say 20s, 30s, and 40s. I don't necessarily.
40s. Oh, I got another.
I'm not saying
decade.
I agree with that. So I think she has to be careful about saying that politicians aren't in their prime.
We need to qualify. Are you talking about prime for like childbearing, or are you talking about prime for being president?
What the facts are. Google it. Everybody at home. When is a woman in her prime? It says 20s, 30s, and 40s. And I'm just saying Nikki Haley should be careful about saying that politicians are not in their prime and they need to be in their prime when they serve, because she wouldn't be in her prime according to Google or whatever it is.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about dummy Don Lemon, who once again has found itself in some hot water, as there was a bombshell report from Variety that has exposed Don Lemon's history of sexist and misogynistic behavior at CNN. Now, we've talked about this before in the past with Don Lemon having troubles at CNN because he's a failed news anchor. Okay, he had a primetime show at night that nobody watched, and he got a promotion/demotion to the CNN This Morning show, in which nobody's watching that either. And on top of that, he can't get along with his female colleagues, okay? Because apparently, he has a history of being sexist to his female colleagues, okay? He was on air, and he made some comments about female sports being inferior to men's sports. Also, he made comments about Nikki Haley being out of her prime. And behind the scenes, Don Lemon also confronted and yelled at his female colleagues for interrupting him, okay? And apparently, again, things are not going well in Wonderland at CNN with that show. And now we have, again, another report that has come out basically accusing Don Lemon of misogynistic/sexist behavior, right? There seems to be a pattern here, okay? But again, I love these stories because this is a perfect example of the woke eating themselves, right? Somebody like Don Lemon has been on the woke train for a while now. Now, he used to be based, and sometimes based Don comes out, right? Like when he was talking about Nikki Haley not being in her prime, and when women are in their prime, and when he was talking about women's sports, that was based on, right? But more often than not, Donna, right? Donna Lemonade shows up more than based on. And Donna Lemonade is super woke, okay? And he has basically now become a victim of wokeness, of PC culture that, people like him have pushed in society at his own workplace because, again, apparently they're out to get him, right? And I think that is where these reports are coming from of Don Lemon and his alleged sexist behavior. I think that people are leaking stuff to the media because they want him fired. Apparently, his female colleagues are pissed that CNN didn't get rid of him after the Nikki Haley comment. So without further ado, I actually want to play a quick video from a TikToker here explaining that report from Variety, and then we're going to talk about Don Lemon's response because he's looking to sue, right? He wants to sue Variety for this report.
Y'all, the girls are fighting at CNN. Let's get to this story. Now, y'all know our auntie Don Lemon. Apparently, Variety magazine had put out this scathing article about his behavior over at one of the biggest news organizations in the world. So here's the Variety article that we're going to go through, and I highly encourage you to read it. It is titled, Don Lemon's Misogyny at CNN Exposes Salacious Text Messages Mocking Co-Workers and His Diva-like Behavior. So the article just jumps right into it, and it says that Don Lemon and another news anchor was beefing back and forth because this news anchor got a story that Don Lemon wanted. When Don found out that she had got the story, all of a sudden she received 2 text messages right? From an anonymous phone number that said this: "Now you've really crossed the line and you're gonna pay for it." When that news anchor by the name of Phillips went ahead and told CNN to get their investigators on it, look what they found out. According to investigators who remain anonymous, they stated that they were able to track those anonymous text messages back to Don Lemon, honey. When the investigation from Human Resources had closed, all they did was just separate the two anchors by letting Don Lemon do the weekend show and this news anchor to continue her coverage on the news in Iraq. Child, that's not even the worst of it. Apparently, Don Lemon went around bragging about his friendship with Stedman Graham. If you guys know who Stedman Graham is, that's Oprah Winfrey's on-again, off-again partner. He also said that he's very litigious and that he has won multi-million-dollar lawsuits, including being racially profiled by the Chicago PD. So not only is our auntie out here flossing his money, but he's flossing his friendships with high-profile individuals. And if you think that's the worst of it, it's not. According to this Variety article, Don Lemon also was engaging in a relationship with a young intern who was 22 years his junior. Honey, this the one. This the one. So according to the Variety magazine, at the time, roughly around 2008, CNN put out their docuseries called Black in America. And while all of the news anchors were sitting around waiting to see who was going to be able to do this high-profile docuseries, it turns out it went to Soledad O'Brien. And just for reference, this is Soledad O'Brien. She's the other auntie, and we love her. Now, when the word came out that Soledad O'Brien was getting this position, child, Don Lemon said, and I quote, "She ain't even black." And when this Variety article came out, they went ahead and reached out to Soledad O'Brien and let her know. Now, remember, when he said that Soledad wasn't black, he said that in front of roughly 30 staffers, and some of those staffers came forward anonymously and told this to Variety. Soledad O'Brien was not available when that comment was made that she's not black, but here's what she told Variety. And Soledad said, and I quote, "Don has long had a habit of saying idiotic and inaccurate things." So it sounds pretty on brand for him. Ciao.
Yeah, so in a nutshell, Variety exposed Don Lemon being a diva behind closed doors, right? Which, I mean, come on. Is anybody surprised, okay, considering Donna Lemonade's past history, okay, in terms of how he acts on television? Of course, the guy is a diva behind closed doors, okay? Yeah, he's a drama queen. And Don Lemon apparently is looking to sue over this report from Variety over, you know, some of these allegations of sexism. Okay, so without further ado, let's read about this because this is pretty hilarious. CNN's Don Lemon is reportedly weighing a possible lawsuit over a bombshell exposed in Variety that allege he has a history of threatening and demeaning female colleagues such as Soledad O'Brien, Kyra Phillips, and Nancy Grace. The embattled CNN This Morning co-host, who recently got into hot water over making sexist on-air comments, is apoplectic about Variety's report and has consulted attorneys about a possible lawsuit against the entertainment publication. Insider reported Wednesday. Neither Lemon nor Variety returned a request for comment. CNN declined to comment. A source close to Lemon said that he's outwardly playing it cool and that CNN's defense of the anchor in the press shows that they're standing behind him. I really don't know why, because this guy has not produced much for CNN. Apparently, again, that infinity stone of wokeness, okay, being black and gay, apparently that goes a long way, okay, because this guy was a straight white male. With all this negative publicity, this man would have been out the door quick, okay? Look what happened to Brian Seltzer, okay? I want you guys to understand. In 2023, this is the world we live in. Well, I don't know if, you know, Brian Seltzer's straight, but allegedly straight. Brian Seltzer, white guy, fired, okay? Out the door. They told him, hey, don't even pack your stuff, right? You're just done. Don't even show up to set, right? Don't even show up to work on your last day. They just fired him and he was done, okay? But Don Lemon, though, they demoted him to CNN This Morning. The show is doing terrible, okay? Nobody's watching it. And also on top of that, apparently he's yelling at female colleagues behind the scenes and making sexist remarks on air. And they're giving this guy like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 chances, right? Again, I'm trying to figure out exactly what is it going to take for them to fire this guy, okay? Because, again, we've seen that their tolerance is a lot lower with other folks. Again, like Brian Seltzer. I'm just saying. Those infinity stones of wokeness, they go a long way, okay? You just can't fire any of these people any type of way, right? Because, again, you might get accused of homophobia or racism. And we know Don Lemon going to let that race card fly. He going to let the homophobia card fly. we know he's going to let it fly if CNN actually fired the guy, right? So I think that's what's going on here. Quote, they've known for years, added a second media source referring to CNN. Quote, Lemon is not going to sue because then they have to depose people and more stuff could come out. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, right? I mean, if this stuff is true, they would have to find this during the deposition, and that can make Don Lemon look bad, right? Just ask Fox News how that's going for them right now. Variety reported Wednesday that Lemon, who sparked outrage in February when he declared that 51-year-old GOP presidential candidate Nikki Haley was not in her prime, engaged in disrespectful diva-like behavior, often directed at his female co-workers. The report alleged that the 57-year-old Lemon allegedly called a female producer fat to her face, accused O'Brien of not being black, and sent Phillips a menacing text message because he was jealous in 2008. Yeah, again, that sounds about right, right? That sounds just like Donna Lemonade. In 2008, while working as a co-anchor of CNN's Live From, Lemon was passed over for Phillips to cover the aftermath of the Iraq invasion. Enraged, he allegedly vented his jealousy by ripping up pictures and leaving them on Phillips' desk. Two sources who worked at CNN at the time told the outlet. She later received a threatening text message from Lemon while out with coworkers. Quote, now you've crossed the line and you're going to pay for it. Read the message sent to Phillips' phone from an anonymous number that was later reportedly traced to Lemon. This guy is crazy. He's a psychopath, man. Again, these guys have huge egos, okay? And this is why people like Don Lemon, they get caught up in this type of drama, right? Because apparently one of his beefs with his female workers was that they talk over him, right? Don Lemon's not getting enough talk time, okay? Don Lemon is supposed to be a one-man show, and he thinks he has more juice than he actually does. And it's like, no, you don't have a real authentic fan base. You don't have people who actually really follow you like that. You just only have a platform. You're only famous because CNN gave it to you. But once you leave CNN, you're going to be a nobody. I mean, just look what happened to Chris Cuomo, who's having a midlife crisis over the fact that he's not going to be what he used to be at CNN because he doesn't really have a real fan base, right? People don't really, they don't rock with him like that. CNN conducted an investigation into the text, removed Lemon from his co-anchoring duties alongside Phillips, and demoted him to weekends, according to Variety. On Wednesday, CNN defended Lemon, telling the Post that the Variety story penned by reporter Tatiana Siegel provided, quote, no actual proof and instead relies on anonymous sources and unsubstantiated claims from 10 to 15 years ago. Well, again, it's CNN. Your employees are probably the ones leaking it, right? Because, again, they want this man fired, okay? Don Lemon, again, they're doing whatever they can behind the scenes to fire this guy, right? I think that's exactly what's going on here. The network, which has recently made Lemon undergo formal training after his Haley remarks, also said it is unable to corroborate the alleged accounts. Lemon shared a statement through a spokesperson adding, quote, the story, which is riddled with patently false anecdotes and no concrete evidence, is entirely based on unsourced, unsubstantiated 15-year-old anonymous gossip. It's amazing and disappointing that Variety would be so reckless. Yeah. This is, again, drama at CNN, which is more entertaining than CNN itself. Inside CNN, staffers are tired of the drumbeat of bad press over Lemon, who made headlines for chewing out CNN This Morning co-host Caitlin Collins after a broadcast in December. Quote, it makes us the story, one annoyed employee said, noting that everyone just wants to get back to work. The morning show, which was reimagined under Lemon, Collins, and co-host Poppy Harlow, has flailed in the ratings since it was launched in November by CNN boss Chris Lynch. Yeah, so that show is failing. Nobody's really watching the show anymore. And Don Lemon continues to get bad press, right? I think eventually they're going to have to fire this guy, right? They're not going to be able to overcome this, okay? Because what's happening now is that, again, you have employees, feminists who are pissed at Don Lemon internally, leaking this stuff to the media to continue to give Don Lemon bad press. And, by proxy, CNN is getting bad press as well, too. And eventually something has to give, right? Something has to give, and Don Lemon's going to be on the way out the door, right? I'm just saying, this is crazy, okay? This guy continues to get involved in drama. But again, I'm not surprised. Don Lemon is a drama queen, right? Even when he's on air, he's a drama queen. So behind the scenes, he's probably terrible. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.